For decades, fans thought The Lion King was just a timeless African story of just talking lions and the circle of life. But what if there's a hidden history buried under Pride Rock? What if The Lion King didn't happen in modern times at all, but took place during the age of Greek myths? Today, we're going deep into one of Disney's strangest mysteries. When did The Lion King happen? Could it really take place around 1300 BC? Let's start with a basic clue. In Hercules' one scene, you can see a lion's pelt on the floor. Fans noticed it looks exactly like Scar from The Lion King. It has the same dark mane and the same scar over one eye. That short scene sparked a big question among viewers. Did Scar somehow end up in Hercules' world? This is what we know. In The Lion King, Scar dies after the stampede, and the hyenas turn on him. But in Hercules, the story is based on old Greek myths about Hercules, a hero from the Bronze Age. So, if that really is Scar's pelt, only a few possibilities make sense. Either Scar somehow survived, someone preserved his skin for thousands of years, or Disney's animators are playing a hidden joke on us. There are several logical ways to interpret this clue. First, it could be an Easter egg, a hidden joke the Disney team added for fun. Second, perhaps someone discovered Scar's pelt long after his death and brought it to Greece as an ancient treasure. People traded things even in ancient times, so it is possible his pelt became a legend. And according to the third, the wild one, maybe Scar somehow lived for centuries before ending up in Hercules' story. But that doesn't fit what we see in the movies, so it's the hardest to believe. Then the theory flips on its head. In Greek mythology, Hercules fights the Nemean lion, a massive beast whose skin became his famous cloak. The lion rug in Hercules might actually represent that myth. It just happens to look like Scar, not be Scar. So the rug gives us a strong hook. However, it is only a clue, not proof. Still, this small detail opens the door to a bigger idea. What if the world of The Lion King touches the Bronze Age stories? If The Lion King really took place around 1300 BC, that would fall right in the middle of the Bronze Age. This was the era of Egyptian pharaohs, of Greek warriors like Hercules and Achilles, when stories of gods and beasts felt almost real. This is where the theory hits its climax. The setting of The Lion King fits well into this era. The Bronze Age world was full of mystery. In Egypt, lions symbolized kingship and the sun, exactly what Mufasa and Simba represent. Statues of lions guarded temples and tombs, just like how lions rule over the circle of life in the Pride Lands. Now think about this. Ancient Africa wasn't a silent desert. It was connected through trade routes that reached the Mediterranean, Arabia, and even Greece. Traders carried gold, ivory, and animal skins, maybe even lion pelts, across thousands of miles. So if a lion like Scar ever existed in that world, it's not crazy to imagine his story or his skin ending up in another land like Greece. Even the environment matches the era. The Pride Lands could easily be set in a prehistoric version of East Africa, a time before major human settlements. This explains why there are no humans. They simply haven't spread that far yet. But this is something even more curious. If the Lion King existed in this Bronze Age world, what about the other animals like anteaters and leafcutter ants that shouldn't even be in Africa? That's where things get even stranger. And if the rules of nature are already bending in the Pride Lands, then maybe the answer isn't about animals at all. It's about us. The Bronze Age was full of people. Egypt, Mesopotamia, and Greece were thriving. Yet in The Lion King, not a single human appears. No hunters, no villages, even no signs of human tools or fire. And that silence might be the biggest clue of all. Some fans think The Lion King happened before humans ruled, when animals led the world. So maybe the circle of life was not just a saying. Maybe it was the world's first system of order, before humans ever built kingdoms. But another theory flips everything upside down. Around 1300 BC, Africa was alive with early trade routes, but vast parts of the land were still untouched. So what if the Pride Lands were hidden deep within one of those wild regions where nature still ruled? And when humans finally arrived, the circle of life was already gone. Maybe that's why ancient Egypt worshipped lions as symbols of strength and royalty. They weren't just honoring nature, they were remembering a time when lions truly ruled the earth. Every great Bronze Age civilization worshipped animals as gods. In Egypt, there was Sekhmet, the lion-headed goddess of war and the sun. In Greece, the Nemean lion, a beast no weapon could kill. And in Mesopotamia, Lions stood for kingship and cosmic balance, just like Mufasa rules over the circle of life. So what if the Lion King is Disney's hidden retelling of those myths, a story where gods and monsters return, but through the eyes of animals? Think about it. Mufasa is the sun, whose roar brings balance, death brings darkness, and Simba's rise restores the light. It's the same pattern as the Egyptian sun god Ra, who dies every night and is reborn each morning. Even Scar represents the same evil, jealousy, and chaotic energy that's set embodied in ancient myth. But every legend has a prophet, the bridge between the divine and the living world. That's exactly what Rafiki is when he lifts Simba to the sky, presenting him to the sun like a sacred heir. And what about the circle of life? That's not just a catchy phrase, it's a spiritual law. Ancient people believed the world lived by balance. When one life ends, another begins. That's the same truth the Pride Lands follow. So maybe The Lion King isn't just an animated tale about talking animals. Maybe it's a modern echo of something ancient, a memory of gods, kings, and the balance that keeps the world alive. But if that's true, what does it mean for the final question? Did The Lion King really take place around 1300 BC, or have we been looking at it the wrong way all along? So, after all the theories, clues, and debates, 1300 BC still shines as the strongest candidate for when The Lion King could have taken place. It captures the soul of that time when humans saw gods in every sunrise, feared the power of nature, and told stories to explain the world. It's the same energy that made people worship lions as divine protectors and paint their images on temple walls. But calling it strictly 1300 BC might be missing the point. The Pride Lands could represent a spiritual timeline, a world that existed long before calendars and kings. So maybe the truth is, The Lion King is not just a story about animals in Africa. It's a bridge between humanity's past and the nature we came from. And if you look closely at the stars above Pride Rock or the circle drawn by Rafiki, you'll see what the ancients saw too, that life, death, and rebirth are all part of one endless cycle, a circle that began long before 1300 BC and still continues today. If The Lion King really took place around 1300 BC, then it wasn't just a story about a cub. It was the first legend, the one that all kingdoms were built on. So, what do you think? Do you believe The Lion King existed before humans, or was it Disney's way of retelling a story older than civilization itself? Which theory makes the most sense to you? Myth, history, or both? Drop your thoughts in the comments.